we are committed to accommodating the campaign because political speech is the very essence of the First Amendment. Okay, man. All right. Well, great. I'm glad you feel that way, and that that you would stop Phish, who I don't know 20,000 people that would go to see that concert anyways. But however, that you would allow Trump to go ahead and give his speech due to the essence of the First Amendment. That's great. So that went crazy. That went viral this week. Pictures of that were just talked about all over the place, and the hype and the things that go along with it. A part of this article got into, where are we skipping to? Okay, we're skipping into now a part of the article that starts to talk about the way Trump speaks in general. He's real loud, real brash, real in your face. He can say some things that might not resonate with you, might offend you a little bit. I know I've got close family members that are older, if you will, seasoned veterans that can't stand Trump. Just so brash and just can't stand him. It's fine. That's fine. You're not the only ones out there. There are a lot of people out there. However, Democrats and Republicans are worried that Trump's loud, crazy, air quotes, his crazy talk would hurt the U.S. image. This is true. However, when they got into it and they really started talking with these voters, they found that his brash talk, if you will, may not, in the end, stop Democrats and Republicans from voting for him. In the end. And I'm throwing this out there because I'm telling you folks, in the end, that's what matters. We need to vote for the person that is not going to bring communism here. We got to vote for the person that's going to bring us closer and more in the direction of capitalism. It's a big giant ship. This is the biggest ship you've ever seen. And you can't just, we're just going to make a left turn right here. Turn the wheel, make a left turn. It doesn't work like that. We're going to have to steer it ever so slowly in the right direction. We've been going for the last 100 years in the wrong direction. And we need to right this ship. So vote for the person that would be in the most correct way. You're never going to find anybody perfect. Remember that. There is no perfect candidate. All you Tea Party members out there, I'm a Tea Party member too. I call myself a Tea Party member. I don't actually have a card or a license that says Tea Party on it, but my views align with the Tea Party. There is no perfect candidate out there. Mitt Romney was not the perfect candidate. No, not by far. And even come out even more, Paul Ryan was probably a worse vice president. But we did talk about that. Being vice president, you really don't do much. I mean, look at Uncle Joe. Crazy Uncle Joe. John Kerry's done more than Uncle Joe's done. I mean, Joe Biden? Really? Yeah, I don't know anything he's done. Okay, but I digress. Mitt Romney was not the perfect candidate. He was not going to steer us towards communism. However, he may have kind of moved the boat a couple degrees away from that versus full-blown communism. I mean, he claimed that he ran on his claim was he was running on abolishing Obamacare. Okay. That's a pretty good start. Whether that would have happened, I have no idea or not. We'll never know. Mitt Romney was a good guy, a good family man. Part of the GOP establishment? Yes. Beholden to the GOP establishment? Yes. But not this Obama craziness. He was not this crazy socialist, communist, I want to tear down America and America needs to pay for its transgressions. He was not that guy. Would he have been reelected? Would Mitt Romney be reelected in 2016? We'll never know. The point is, though, is that we need to stay away from the crazies, i.e. Obama, Hillary, and certainly outspoken socialist communist Bernie Sanders. That's just insanity. So, and we need to teach our kids and our children, we need to teach them the right things in the right way. And that's why we have the largest revolt, if you will, against the Department of Education, which is called homeschooling. People are able to homeschool their children in the ways that line up with their ideologies. And something I talked about to my wife about this is that the government wants you, the citizen, to hand your child to them so that they can teach them and educate them. You don't know what they're teaching them. You don't know what they're educating them. However, they tell you that we're going to give them a grade and we'll show you how good they're doing. But we're not going to tell you what they're, math, reading, writing, and arithmetic. They're going to learn to read, and maybe, sort of. Well, even if our schools are doing bad, we'll just dump more money into them to try and make them better. But that's irrelevant. It doesn't even matter. Your children become more loyal to the schools and the government than they do you. Because who do they see all day long? Who's not bossing them around? Who's not telling them, who's feeding them? Feeding them 3 meals a day? It's the government. It's these schools. So these children are starting to revolt against their parents and become more loyal to the government. This has got to stop. Ronald Reagan ran on the platform of abolishing the U.S. Department of Education. Why he didn't do it? I will never know. Ronald Reagan's not the perfect person. But boy, he was one of the best. He really helped to steer us in the right way. He wasn't the perfect candidate. He wasn't perfect. We're all human. Ain't nobody perfect. There will never be a perfect candidate. Okay? Ronald Reagan wasn't perfect. However, he did steer us. He headed that ship in the right direction. So much so that we went from the late 70s and government control of gasoline, rationing of gas, and all the badness that was going on with the economy and everything was falling apart, to 20 years of a boom cycle that just went through the roof. I mean, America literally became the only country in the world that was standing alone as the highest, most wealthiest, greatest country to ever live in. Yes, that's right. And the Democrats hated that. They hated that America was so loved. Well, not really so loved. They all tell us that we're hated around the world, but that's not so true though. I've been around the world. I've talked to a lot of people, and people in other countries are absolutely excited to meet somebody from America, to sit there and to talk with you, and to hear your ideas and where you come from. Come to find out, you're just a normal person as well. You're just an average person, just like they are. You just happen to live in a capitalist society that is very wealthy, very efficient, very well off. And a lot of communists, a lot of socialists, they hate that. They hate the fact that capitalism wins every day of the week and communism doesn't win. Yet they won't let go of that communist idea. It's just absolute insanity. So there's a CEO. His name's Ron Howard of Mercury, and he is a Democrat whose firm works with candidates in both parties and corporate clients. And he concedes, this is what he says, quote, "We expected Trump's first campaign spot to strongly appeal to Republican Trump supporters with little impact or, in fact, negative impact on Democrat or independent voters." He continues, "The challenge to Hillary, if Trump is the nominee, and pivots to the center in the general election as a problem-solving, independent-minded, successful, get-her-done businessman, is that Democrats will no longer be able to count on his personality and outrageous sound bites to disqualify him in the voters' minds." This is a guy who that's all he does is work with candidates, corporate clients, things like that. He works with these campaign managers, if you will. And he's saying that if Trump shows up and says, hey, I'm a get it done kind of person, that's what I do. A lot of these outrageous sound bites and all these clips that the media is coming out to try and hurt him just might not resonate, might not happen whatsoever. And that's why you see this well, maybe not a mass exodus, but a defection from the Democrat Party to not so much the Republican Party, but to a candidate who can get it done. People are feeling the crunch out there. There is no question about it. There was an article earlier this week. It just blew my mind. I'm not going to get too far off on that tangent, but they came out with a jobs report. Here it is. Second best year for American workers since 1999, and further evidence that a resilient job market is coming back. What? What? Do you feel that, folks? This is by Bloomberg.com. Payrolls in the U.S. rise more than projected. Jobless rate at 5%. Really? Really? Jobless rate at 5%. You know that's not true. Why? Because the very next article, and this was on, I found both these articles on the Drudge Report back to back, which is really convenient how Drudge does that. It's pretty neat. You can also follow us on Facebook at Smith Radio. It's facebook.com/Smith Radio. You can follow our page, and you will see all the articles and all the videos and things like that I'll post throughout the week that I'll use for my show prep. Now, I don't use all of it, but I sift through it throughout the week, and then I'll sift through it again on Sunday and just kind of go through the ones that I think are most important to you and most important to me. So this was the second article, and this came out on Friday, January 8th. It says 94,103,000 Americans not in labor force. Yeah, that's correct, folks. 94 million Americans are not, but are not working. They're saying labor force participation improves slightly. 94 million Americans not in the labor force. Okay, and this is by CNSnews.com. They're reporting that it's a slight improvement from 94,446,000 to 94,103,000. A couple of 100,000. Wow. With 62% of the civilian non-institutionalized population either holding a job or actively seeking one. That is just pure insanity. This is what has become the norm. The norm has become that people not working is okay. If you take it all the way back to, let's see, what does this chart say? This chart goes all the way back to December 1976, where the participation rate was at 58%. And now we were at the highest. We're almost at 68%. Now we're down to 62%. At one point in time, we were as low as maybe around 55% unemployment rate. But the point is that 94 million people that could be working are not working. And it found that in 2014, 87 million people 16 years old and older neither worked nor looked for work at any time during the entire year of 2014. How's this? This is not the America that we talk about. This is not the America that's the boom town. This is not going to cut it. Not only that, but all the with the illegal immigration coming through, those folks are taking jobs and people are paying them a lot less money, a fraction of the money to work versus hire an American, which we demand a higher pay because the cost of living is higher. I mean, I could.